Minecraft 1.14, or better known as the Village and Pillage update, being one of Minecraft's biggest updates ever, alongside 1.13's The Update Aquatic, among others, it was certainly an impressive update. In terms of features alone, the update was massive, expanding on so many ideas, changing virtually most of the elements of crafting, alongside a lot of villager aspects, and way more than that. 1.14 was, well, great. It really did add a lot to the game in so many ways, but as the famous quote goes, with great power comes great responsibility. And sadly, I think that Mojang may have made some pretty big mistakes with this update. Since 1.14's release, we've noticed more and more cracks in the walls, and sadly, things are leaking through. In this video, we're going to discuss some of the biggest problems that Mojang is currently facing with the Village and Pillage update, see if we can find any solutions to various problems, and give our honest criticism. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. Minecraft 1.14 is great. It genuinely is. In terms of features alone anyway, I really can't knock on it. While some ideas were certainly questionable, such as removing the ability to combine swords in the crafting grid and needing to use a grindstone or an anvil, the Village and Pillage update genuinely brought a lot to the game, and what we arguably lost from the game was for the benefit of the game overall. With all of the benefits out of the way though, there are some issues facing Minecraft in its current state, especially performance-wise. Since 1.14, and in many cases since 1.13, Minecraft Java Edition has been in a relatively weird place in its life. While the content of the updates is more amazing than anything we've seen in many years, problems do continue to pile up, causing a potentially favorite version for many to become less viable as their primary means of playing the game. Because of the hardcore player support that the Java edition of the game gets, many will stand by the detriments of Java Edition, no matter what issues may arise. But if the problem pile continues to stack up, we might actually see people leaving the current versions of the game behind, either moving back to older versions, to Bedrock Edition, or leaving the game entirely. No matter what way you slice it, it's not good. So what are these problems that face Minecraft 1.14? Well, for starters, in the earlier versions of 1.14, before its first and second revisions, chunk loading was a major issue, and some could argue even more so in the first revision, and even still now in the second. What was seemingly fixed during the snapshots came back in full force and messed with a lot. Another issue that the game had were massive lighting bugs that caused sometimes massive areas to not light up properly at all, no matter what way you attempted to fix them. Smaller glitches were also abundant, but they could be mostly ignored. However, for a lot of the community, what comes next can't be ignored, and in the way that it's broken Minecraft, it raises many concerns for the future of the franchise, and this isn't even an issue that started with 1.14, but rather, it kinda started in 1.13. Mojang has had this problem for a few years now, and this problem could not only destroy a large portion of Minecraft's community, but arguably multiplayer as we know it, and this is not an exaggeration. Long story short, servers are breaking entirely. In the system's current state, servers are crippling under the weight of their players, and the players aren't even doing anything wrong. You think I'm kidding? Well, I'm not. In many cases, servers simply can't function properly, or at the very least function very well. Just a few weeks ago, SMP Live, one of Twitch's biggest series regarding Minecraft that not only myself, but also Michaelmcchill are a part of, has seen many different issues, and therefore many issues that may have actually been present in the snapshots that we may have not been aware of that actually flew under our radar. Since Michael's joining, and since my own return to that community, we've seen Minecraft breaking in plenty of different ways, but the server consistency has been the biggest turnoff. At one point in the server, we even joked about the fact that we should make a video about the problem, and well, now here we are. Since the release of 1.14.2, the problem has been relatively fixed for servers and communities as small, restrained, and closed as SMP Live, but for other large-scale, maybe anarchy-type servers, where each player is loading their own chunks rather than a minigame server where most people are close together, it's even worse. And so bad, in fact, that they're not only not going to update to 1.14, but they've even stopped heading into 1.13. Yeah. You know which one I'm talking about. Two builders, two tools. A while back, I made a video talking about, as FitMC regularly says, the oldest anarchy server in Minecraft. On that server, they handle pretty much everything, and in turn, the server handles the players. Sure, the connection dips in and out depending on if someone has turned on a lag machine at that moment, but it runs relatively well, all things considered. You don't have 150 people playing on an over 6 terabyte world that goes back as far as December 2010 and not have problems. It just doesn't happen. But even though the server has its players under control, one thing it doesn't is anything past 1.12.2. Yeah, that's right. Not 1.13, not 1.13.1 or 1.13.2, not 1.14, 1.14.1, or even 1.14.2. The server just can't handle it under any circumstance. Recently, on the 2B2T subreddit, Housemaster, the server operator and creator of 2B2T, posted his biannual server news and updates post, answering some frequently asked questions about the server. One of these questions was in regards to updating the server to 1.13 or 1.14. In his response, House stated 1.13 was not a good update for large servers, and 1.14 even less so, even in 1.14.2. The recent 1.13 stress test proved for everyone that participated it would not be possible to update without suffering extreme lag with no option to revert. It would mean having to either reduce player slots to a ridiculously low amount or dealing with a crippled and unplayable server. For those reasons, the server will remain on 1.12 indefinitely. There will be more tests done on both 1.13 and 1.14 in the near future. It does not have to do with converting the entire map to the new format. This is not a problem any longer. For a server owner, operator, and player who has dealt with Mojang's countless inconsistencies between updates for nearly the past 10 years now, House certainly knows what he's talking about based on his history alone. In his own words, the server runs on the best possible hardware available at the time of his posting, running on an overclocked i9-9900K on rated NVMe drives with multiple weekly backups onto a separate server. 2B2T is at the peak performance of what a survival server should be, but for whatever reason, it's just not possible, and if they can't figure it out, can anybody figure it out? Are they making the right choice in sticking with 1.12 indefinitely until Mojang can fix their stuff? And even then, is that what Mojang should be doing? And I would argue, yeah, they should be focusing on that. So here's a question. Even if these problems are getting worked on, and in the case of updating SMP Live from 1.14 to 1.14.2, where it added huge benefits and made the server actually playable again, is Mojang sacrificing the quality of their game in favor of timely updates, especially in the case of Java Edition? I mean, let's think about it. We're getting quick updates? Check. Are the features good? Check. Do they listen to the community? Check. Are they overlooking huge problems? Big check. Do you know why the Bedrock Edition community doesn't typically sound too loud about huge problems with their version of the game? Because, at least from a performance perspective, Bedrock Edition is cleaner. I know some people might get mad at me for saying that, but it's just true. Bedrock Edition, in the case of code alone, seems way cleaner. To put it simply, it's not Java. If you've been on the internet long enough, you know that Minecraft Java Edition runs on, well, Java. While Java by itself is not a huge issue, Minecraft's implementation of it certainly is. To look back at some of what Housemaster said, Minecraft's biggest problem is that from a processor standpoint, Minecraft is a single core game. If Minecraft's server architecture had the capability to take advantage of the latest 16, 32, or even 64 core processors, we might just have 1,000 players on a single survival server, with everyone loading their own separate chunks with no problems at all. Like, could you even imagine? Anyways, in my opinion, it feels like we shouldn't be getting pre-release non-snapshots this far along after the official release of the update. It makes me wonder what's genuinely happening behind the scenes at Mojang, and that's not a dig at them. I know they don't want to get rid of Java Edition. I know they're trying their best, but if they don't begin to figure it out, the Java Edition community might just snap and they might get rid of it. And that's something that I never want to see happen. But what's your take on all of this? Have you been experiencing anything similar to what I described in this video, or do you have another story to tell? Let me know in the comment section down below. But other than that, that just about does it for me for now. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like on it, because it would really help out myself and Michaelmcchill, who co-wrote and edited this video, the channel, and the video quite a lot. But anyways guys, I hope you all enjoyed. My name is AntVenom, and I bid you all farewell. Thanks so much for watching.